Hello everyone, Eric the PowerPoint here, Internet's busiest rap battle fan, and today we're taking a look at Eric PowerPoint's Azula versus Shaolin Soccer. Rising star Eric PowerPoint comes to us with what I think is his strongest project yet. He's had a pretty great career in FRB so far, has been recognized for pretty much all of it as a very strong writer and just a very entertaining creator, specifically with the PowerPoint video gimmick, coming in and establishing sort of a different style from a lot of the creators you traditionally see. I have always thought that Eric PowerPoint was a pretty fun creator to look at, and while his projects weren't always for me, I found that they were usually very solid and have a pretty great foundation base. But this one in particular actually did catch my eye as being a very fun one, especially on release. To start with the writing, Eric's strong point in this battle, as I think is the case in a lot of his battles, is his punchline. He really focuses on that as his game, and I think there are a lot of fun ones here. A couple of examples being the brought down the earth kingdom bar, I thought was really good. The your father isn't very good with the marital arts, I thought that was a fun one. But the one that especially got me on watch was the your girlfriend lost an acne kai. That one I did like, it did get me genuinely, and I think that's probably my favorite bar out of the battle. That's a very strong, very mean bar, works especially well in character. In terms of the other parts of writing, I found that there's a few solid internal rhymes here as well that keep the battle interesting to listen to. The flow is a little samey across the whole thing, but there's enough of a shakeup and there's enough kind of going on to sort of keep you from being bored by the flow of the battle. So I would say that the pacing is fine, if just nothing particularly special. But again, I think that it's more than covered by the punchlines, which is again the strong point of this battle. I don't particularly find the flow and the internal rhymes to be anything super crazy or super inventive, but they're very they definitely meet the bar at minimum, so no issues there. The only part of the writing, quote unquote, that I have a problem with is that upon revisiting this battle, I find that the parts where the battle is being paused for some character beats can be a little awkward in terms of the pacing. I think the third one between Singh and the coach is pretty solid because they're still kind of rapping, and I thought the joke was a little cute. But the first one where, the first two, I should say rather, where Singh and Azula are kind of getting in their heads, where Azula remembers about her mom and Singh is just kind of like powering up and focusing up as Azula tries to kill him. I did think those were a little awkward, and I think the pacing around there, I get the point of the character beats, but I just don't think that the way it's done really works all that well, and it probably mostly comes down to the video, which we will talk about later. But all in all, pretty solid on the writing end. In terms of the audio, it's all pretty standard affair. I think Benjamin has a pretty energetic, fun performance here. I think that Sampai delivers a particularly solid performance, both in terms of the impression and the showcase of acting. I especially thought that, as she got more angry, as she begins to showcase her character a little more, Angie delivers a particularly strong performance. The cameos from myself and Fox are not really worth bringing up in that way. I think, they're there. But the beat, I do think, keeps pretty good energy. The instrumentation is fun, fits both sides very well, and it kind of wraps the package all together in a way that is just very solid. This audio, I would say, is very, very solid. Finally is the video. Now, as we've mentioned with Eric PowerPoint, the video, specifically for this one, takes after Condiment King versus Nuclear Man, which is Eric PowerPoint's previous experimentation with doing this type of live-action character edited like stills, which I think is a very cute and fun idea, and I respect Eric PowerPoint a lot for coming up with something like that. I do think that the video looks pretty goofy, especially in those character beats that I mentioned before. I do think most of it is on purpose, but especially if you're trying to have character moments like that, I do think that Eric PowerPoint cut to the show for Azula's parts. But I in general, I just found that sort of the way that PowerPoint rap battles are edited, in PowerPoint, you kind of do miss out on some of that more sort of like hard-hitting shots that more traditional editing softwares would be able to give. But I generally don't find a huge problem with the style. I think it's all pretty solid. Part of me, this is a very personal take, I'll be honest, but if this was me doing something like this, I would have shot to see if I could have made the Azula parts live action as well. But I do understand there's perfectly reasonable in-universe reason for why it's that way. Obviously, Avatar: The Last Airbender, not a live action property. Well, you know, not not recognized by most as a live action property. Obviously, Shaolin Soccer, live action property. I don't think me and Benjamin quite look like the characters. We certainly try to, but I don't think we ever quite hit it. But I think, you know, again, it's fun enough to work. I was there. Benjamin is certainly trying to be physical in this video to almost some success, I would say. But to get a little more serious, outside of all the goofiness, I do think there is actually a few things with this video that I can take issue with that aren't just a result of this style. I think in this battle, the framing is often a little awkward, like characters' heads are a little too close to the top, if not being cut off by the top. The sort of rule of threes here in terms of framing could be followed a little closer just to get a little more even shots where it's a little more symmetrical in a way, just looks better to the viewer, where everything's just slightly off center here and there throughout this video, I found. And also, I would have appreciated seeing more backgrounds. I know that we have clips and whatnot here, but I think Eric PowerPoint, if you're willing to kind of take that extra step and just, you know, give them a second background just to sort of shake up the scenery a little more, it would have added a little more liveliness to the video. But again, overall, I think this video style is pretty fun. It's very goofy, and it certainly plays into that from time to time in a good way. Overall, I think this is a very foundationally strong project that just misses a swing or two due to its stylization. Eric PowerPoint is choosing to do a few things here that I would say are done with very good intention, but just miss the mark slightly. But regardless of all that, I'm very happy to say that I would give this battle a solid 8. Transition. Did you give this battle a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Right here next to my head is another review that you can watch. Hit that up with a link to subscribe to the channel. Eric the Knee PowerPoint Tano, forever.